what about school? Aren't you still in school?
But I'm forgoing that.
What?
You just tell me right now when I'm about to leaving? Are you out of your mind or what?
But Coco, I really don't know who needs more therapy, me or those girls. It is rare when I sit down to watch a reality TV show and I judge the woman more harshly than the man. Because we usually see terrible men, but these girls are crazy and mentally unstable. Meet James, an elevator mechanic who is 33 years old and lives in Maine.
My father himself got distracted and had an elevator run over 2 of his fingers and chop them off, and he had to go to the hospital and have them sewn back on.
I could not shake the feeling of getting my fingers taken away by an elevator after hearing this. He also loves to mine, and now it's time to meet his wife.
My name is Maitalia, and people call me Tata.
Who is 27 from Indonesia, and their adorable baby Jojo. They have been together for about a year and a half. While James was doing some photography in Indonesia, Tata was doing a bunch of modeling jobs. They both found each other on Instagram and they DM. Maitalia loves the fact that James has never hidden anything from her because she is extremely jealous.
I will take your
I'm scared to death and I want to go home.
2 months after they were talking, he went to visit her in Indonesia, and after 5 days, he decided to propose to her. Maitalia shares that in her culture, you're supposed to follow your husband's lead no matter what.
I love my husband to death, but I'm not happy here.
But that has become more difficult since they got to the US. She hates the weather, the loneliness, and all the health problems that have risen since her arrival 2 years ago.
I have something I need to tell Tata, and it is on my heart very heavy. I know it's gonna be very hard for her to receive.
It is so common to just hide things from your husband or wife in the show. These things are important. Maitalia is leaving before James in 2 days, and James is leaving in about 1 or 2 months.
I'm worried that I'm not gonna be able to find a way to support us over there.
He's not able to really work in Indonesia, so he wants to stay a little bit to gather up some money so they can take it over there.
We have not told my family yet about the move.
What do you mean you guys haven't told your family that you're moving in a month? Both of them are waiting until the last minute.
Leaving the family business and leaving it all on their shoulders, they're gonna feel really let down that I just kind of abandoned them.
James, maybe your family is going to be more upset if you don't tell them right now than if you tell them 2 days before you leave.
Don't feel right to not tell them sooner and then just
But we had a plan to wait. Why would we change it?
Did they make this decision together, or did James make it on his own? Tata starts crying because she fears they won't allow him to leave, and while that might be a little extreme, they might just try to convince him to stay. Earlier on, Tata mentioned that her feelings are all over the place and that she can go from 1 to 1,000 super quickly. And she was right, because in 90-day fashion, they're having a full-on fight with tears and everything inside the record store.
I can tell you how I feel.
Then
How am I
tell me how you
feeling?
feel,
I
but don't change
did.
everything just because you're scared.
Where she says that she's not sure about his commitment to her. Girl, he's about to leave his family business and move to Indonesia for you. Later on, Tata is having her bestie Adele come over so they can talk and make some jewelry together. And she's also going to tell her that they are moving to Indonesia because she still hasn't told her. When they said we haven't told anyone, they really meant no one. Wasn't she saying earlier that she doesn't like to keep secrets? This is a secret.
If like you're a woman, you should have like straight hair.
That's definitely not true, but it doesn't change the fact that she does have some health problems. Then she shares with Adele that she wants to have kids, and Adele tells her that James told her in the past that he's scared about having kids. And this is her reaction.
I don't know what to say because we're planning to have a kid. No, he said don't want to have a kid. Do you? What the?
Wow. Crazy. You're crazy, girl.
How old is Maitalia? 19? Nope, she is 27. Because what are these reactions?
And then James was like, yeah, I'm kind of nervous about having kids and stuff. And I was like, oh.
He didn't tell her no kids. He said, I'm nervous. Parents, weren't you nervous when you had babies? I know I was. I'm just going to come out and say it. This girl is insufferable. Later on, Maitalia is packing to leave, and even though she's still concerned about the baby conversation, she has chosen not to discuss it right now. They are hugging and crying, and here James drops the bombshell that Jojo, the dog, won't be able to join them in Indonesia because of all the outbreaks happening right now. And what's Maitalia's reaction?
And then now you just tell me the day when I left? You just tell me right now when I'm about to leaving? Are you out of your mind or what?
Well, she's acting like my 2-year-old. He's explaining to her that if they take him right away and he shows any symptoms of COVID or rabies, they will take him from them and euthanize him.
But it will not be forever. Trust me on this. I'm sorry.
Take the dog, Tata. Then take him. Take him and see what's going to happen. Her reactions are so disproportionate, and it makes you wonder if she's doing it because she's trying to manipulate James and make him feel bad about the situation and just receive that type of reassurance from him of like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, he did all of this work of 3 months of research trying to figure out what was the best scenario for the dog to go. Found out that if they take him right now, you know, he's gonna die. And instead of you saying, thank you, I appreciate what you did, you get all frustrated. I don't know. Moving on to everyone's favorite couple. And here we have Shekinah and Sarper. She walks into the room in a steamy outfit, and Sarper's like, to my secretary, right? You get your notebook and come to my office right now. What is your name? Shekinah's like, what do you mean, what's my name? I don't want to use different names.
If you were here, I would put this on you right now. You deserve this.
Yeah, that makes me horny, babe.
It is all about the extra information for these two. For those that don't know, this couple met a couple years ago. She fell head over heels for him and realized that she couldn't live away from him. So she decided to start making plans to move closer to him. However, they started having bigger problems, like the fact that he slept with over 2,500 women, his infamous bed.
What is happening with your bed? That is still your old bed.
Him counting her calorie intake. The fact that she made it clear to him on the first date that she did not want to have children. And all of a sudden, Sarper changed his mind.
If you don't want a kid, yeah, that's it.
The future only means a kid to you.
And I was really wondering, how is that going to work? If she does have kids with him, she's going to gain weight. Her body is going to change. Will he be okay with that? Probably not.
To be honest, I still want a child from her. If it our relationship, let her choose or decide.
How is that letting her decide? I have no idea. Shekinah kept traveling back and forth between Turkey and the US to be able to spend time with her daughter. But since this was too expensive, she decided to stay in the US until her visa kicks in and she can return to Turkey.
Is this the longest you've ever been faithful to someone?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what better way to confirm that you're a loyal person than to tell her this?
If I don't text you back for a while, what kind of a bitch you are?
But it's not as simple as it sounds, because according to Shekinah, he gets extremely frustrated anytime that she'll ask him what he's doing or where he is.
He'll go as far as breaking up with me, and like 10 minutes later, he's crying and saying that, you know, we can never be apart.
For Sarper being a controlling man, it's funny to see him beg her so quickly to take him back. Sarper's excuse is that it is difficult for him to be in a long-distance relationship and that he misses her a lot. And if you guys thought that those were the only issues, that's not it. Because the lack of committed relationships that Sarper has under his belt affect the way that he carries himself in this relationship.
I count rice grains on the plate. I'm not normal, for sure.
No, you're not, Sarper. We already know that.
From childhood, I always count things.
Have you ever thought about getting yourself diagnosed? Maybe it will give you some insight into why you're doing that. Sarper is looking out the window, all sad, because she's not there, and says, when she comes, it's going to be 107 days and 2,568 hours. Now, his sister and his niece come over, and Sarper tells us that he's like an iceberg. He only shows his bottom inside part to specific people. Not everyone gets to see it.
If they are worth the seat, I show that under part. Not literally. You understand what I mean.
When he's talking to his sister, he tells us that she's like his best friend and knows all of his secrets.
I slept like 7 of her friends. She doesn't still know. Don't say to her.
Sarper, you're being recorded. Did you forget?
How did they get you in 4K?
That ain't me.
Sarper is a really good personal trainer, according to him. And because of Shekinah's jealousy, he has dried his bank account because he's not allowed to teach women anymore, only man. And here's the thing. It does not help that she knows how many women he has slept with in the past. But there has to be a point where you let this go and move on, especially if it's affecting his income.
There's a limit, like a glass of water. You can put a little more, and it spills over afterwards.
I kind of do agree with him on this. While I have to see some of his changes throughout this season, this relationship won't work if she continues to delegate everything he does. But doesn't he also delegate everything she does?
Example, he sent me some this morning and they just told me like, you know, how to behave today, how to look, you know, what to eat.
Because while Shekinah takes her dog to get groomed with her plastic musketeers, they start wondering why she hasn't showed up to their events. And she says,
he asked me to please not take part in LA events when I'm here, so.
He has also tried to break up with her multiple times just for fun, I guess, because there isn't really a reason other than them not being together 24/7. After sharing with them that she has never wanted to get married and she's really just doing it because they want to be together, her friends are not too happy about this because they know she has never wanted it. Like, she's never wanted to get married. And if it wasn't clear how much Sarper loves controlling Shekinah.
Yes, I'm getting my nose done, finally. It's been bothering me forever. And Sarper has actually designed a new nose for me.
Which, to each their own. Shekinah has already said it in the past that this is a type of relationship that she likes. So, yikes. Moving on, the next couple is Josh, 47, from South Carolina.
Lily! Josh, I missed you. You're so handsome. Oh, you're beautiful.
And he's showing all of us that you are never too old to play with dolls, monster trucks, or video games. What games are you guys playing right now? I'm playing Far. And that's not the only childlike thing he does.
Because a couple months ago, I sold my house and moved back in with my parents.
Josh also has a condition called misophonia.
So chewing with your mouth open, slurping, anything that kind of has a repetitive sound.
Me too, Josh. Me too. Just kidding. I just hate when people chew with their mouth open. I just want to like, but I don't do it. But there is one person that has been able to make all of these sounds in front of him with no problem. And that's Lily. He was learning Mandarin on a language app until he saw her profile and decided that he was done learning Mandarin and wanted to learn more about her instead. After talking for 2 years, she flew to the US and he knew that he couldn't let her go.
That's when I proposed to her.
And 18 days later, they got married in Vegas. I actually like this couple a lot, and I really hope that it stays like that. Josh loves China and has always wanted to travel there, but he's not sure about living there because that means leaving his family behind. When his brother arrives, he asks him,
what if there's no fairy tale ending? You sold your house.
And Josh shares that he won't be able to work for 5 years. You know, right here with the K1 visa, once they arrive to the US, it usually takes about 2 years or less. And he has to wait 5 years to even apply for the other visa that allows him to work.
I've always worked, and I want to feel like I can contribute and not be a deadbeat.
Look, Josh, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, but you seem to be an intelligent individual. So here are some things that you can do to make life easier for Lily. You can learn the language, not tomorrow or in 2 weeks, but start right now. You can take care of the house. You can learn how to cook her favorite meals. You can learn the culture. There's many things that you can do. You can also assist her with things that she would need around her business. You don't have to be a leech. You can do many things.
Why does a woman like Lily want to be with a man like me and support me financially?
Maybe because she loves you. Time to meet Lily. She is 41, has a beautiful home that I can only have in my dreams in California.
我叫田小瑞，是我的中文名，英文名叫 Lily。
She shares with us how successful she is. She built her company from the ground up and even has her own beauty line. She built this man his own theater. Theater? Because he loves movies. Like, girl, are you taking applications for wives too? And she did all of this because she loves him. Josh calls Lily.
Finally get to cuddle. Hold you.
Okay, got it.
And here we see that one of their main struggles is their language barrier. But Josh has a solution. One of those little machines that a majority of the time translates things wrong. So she starts showing him around the house, and Josh expresses that in the past, one of the biggest problems in his relationships is that he doesn't make enough money. And that's why he didn't want Lily to renovate the big house. Now, let's move on to Corona. And as you could tell, I'm a little Corona is 30 years old, lives in Philadelphia, but she's originally from Texas. She is a pro OnlyFans model. Just kidding, she's a doula. Fun fact, did you guys know that the reason why we deliver laying down is because King had a fetish for seeing women give birth, so he made his wife give birth like that. And then on top of that, he paid the doctor to write down that this was one of the easiest ways to give birth, when in reality, the best way is to do it while squatting.
I've been living on my own since age 16. I had to have a job, I had to pay my bills.
She is definitely an educated woman and has been through a lot. You know, she has a track record to show for that. Her mother kicked her out when she was 16 because of how much of a rebel she was. But she took matters into her own hands. She got herself a job, made a life for herself. She put herself in college, passing all her classes with straight A's. A year ago, she traveled to Iceland, and here she partied up until 5 a.m. in the morning. Then went to an after party where she met Inky.
And he'll let me take a nap in his bed. I was like, wow, this is like a quality guy.
That's on me. I set the bar too low.
Corona is way more trusting than I am, because I would have never fallen asleep in a stranger's bed on purpose. My trauma wouldn't let me. Before she moves to Iceland, she needs to see her friends Leo and their wife, Christy. Here we learn that this is the second time that she's applying for the midwifery program, and she's still going to give it up.
You're stepping away from a midwifery program, like a guaranteed spot. I'd be like, what the hell, you dumb bitch.
Corona might be book smart, but she is life dumb.
Have you talked about engagement? Is Inky on the same page?
We have not talked about that, no.
I don't understand why you girls be making wife moves when you don't have a ring on your finger. Like, why? She's like, well, he's my person, but are you his person? You haven't had a conversation about marriage with him.
He's already said what's mine is yours.
I hope it works for you.
Psych!
Nah, I actually don't. You can't just expect someone to want to marry you just because you dance around the topic of marriage and because he said what's mine is yours one time. But she's now off to see her family in Texas right before she moves to Iceland. Corona's mom can't hear well, so she needs to use a tablet that allows her to understand exactly what everyone is saying.
Inky, stinky, winky.
Corona is like, oh my god, you guys are really going to like him. And Grandma right away is like,
I don't like people.
By the way, there's something I want to tell you guys.
I'm moving in less than 2 weeks.
Way to rip off a band-aid.
Why did you have to go to Iceland?
She says that she's pretty nomadic and that he has a business and visits his family regularly, so it makes more sense for her to move over there with him. She also tells them that she's going to let go of her spot at school for this boy.
You're gonna give up your dream for him? Who does that?
That's right. Who does that? Because why? I don't get it. And like Mama says, where is the ring, girl? Show us. Discussions don't get you no ring. However, her mom knows her better, and she knows that Corona is going to do whatever she wants to do, so she's still gonna move, even if they tell her no. Then she asks her, how long have you known this man?
So we've only spent like 20 days together in person.
Yep, 20 days, and she's dropping her entire life for 20 physical days. Her mom tells her, what are you thinking? He's over there and you're over here. Like, you haven't spent time with him. And Corona's like, well, let's play a movie.
Did you do a background check on him?
No, because I don't know his name.
What's his last name?
Oh my God. She doesn't know his last name because Corona also doesn't know his last name. Like, even when grandma tells her, you know, what's on his driver's license? Tell us. And she goes, well, I don't know. I never seen it. What if he has a wife? And she's like, actually, that's not possible. He has never been in a relationship.
What if he has a wife?
He doesn't have a wife. He's never even been in a relationship before.
What? What's wrong with him?
Tell us what's wrong with him, that he hasn't been in a relationship the 38 years that he's been in life. Well, that's because he was a child, so. But just hookups in his belt? Like, that's all he has?
Moving to Iceland with a virgin.
Grandma was cracking me up with her answers. Then they asked her if there's any black people in Iceland, and she said,
there's like 5 black people in Iceland.
And that's not the only problem in this relationship. She has been holding her anger deep down and hasn't really shown her real side because she's doing something like gentle parenting. I'll let her explain.
Soft partnering. You gotta take the spice off of a lot of things. He's never dealt with an angry black woman.
Her mom calls her out right away. There is no way he knows your real black power. There has not been a school that you have tended to where I haven't been called, and then her grandma tells her,
Person he's in love with, it's not the real you yet.
Look, I respect Corona for breaking toxic cycles, for getting a career for herself, for being able to do it on her own. But if he doesn't know the real you, then how can he really be in love with you? I know bad cycles are ideally meant to be broken, but you are hiding who you are because you don't want to let him down. Like, but when are you going to show him who the real Corona is? It kind of seems like at the end of the day, this independent woman might become more of a burden to Inky by making decisions about her future that might affect how she sees him. Because, for example, she's making all of these moves for him that she might throw in his face later on when he hasn't even seen life with her. And then in the preview, Tata is going to torture James with a coin. Corona is going to realize that you don't move across the world, drop your career, and then expect to marry that person right away.
Do you see us ever getting married?
Do people usually get married after 5 months?
People usually move to another country for their people.
And we might see that girl that you guys hate, Stockler. Yeah, this is my first season with her. But yeah, since this is the first episode, I want to hear you guys' thoughts about the first episode in the couples, because so far, I dislike all the women. I'm sorry, but the only girl that I like so far is Lily, and I'm still hoping that she's not gonna disappoint me, because so far we got Tata, a girl that cannot control her emotions, that any answer that her partner gives her, she just throws a fit for it. She acts like a 2-year-old. We got Corona, who thinks that it's better for her to drop her entire life and all the great decisions that she's made because a man told her he loved her one time. And they haven't even had a conversation about marriage. I don't know. And then we have Shekinah, which Shekinah on her own. I personally think that she's not the best mother out there. I don't really like her. I think that she is just not okay in the head. And Sarper is horrible. Sarper is horrible, but what can we do? That's who she picked. So let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments. I love to read what you guys have to say, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the beautiful things that help my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.